Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamerdad, with another video for you. So this video is a long time coming. I know a number of you have requested this video, and so it's been a long time, and it's about time to do an account review. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me this way. So for those who haven't seen an account review for mine before, you can take a look through my my channel. I have extensive records of how I've done over the years, so that you can fully audit and see my polls, my chances, and so on and so forth. Okay, so first off, we'll go right into it. Usually how it goes is I go scrolling from left to right, and I'll show you the light and shadow requirement, like levels I have. You can clearly see I have 181 units, and I believe there are 184 total in the game. So currently, I am missing 3 units. Everyone knows I'm missing Primaya. And therefore, I'm missing 2 forms. The Altar, which also counts as a separate unit, as well as, the normal style. And I'm also missing Altar Shannon, although I will show you when I scroll down my materials. I do actually have enough opuses to side grade her at any point. So I haven't done that just yet. Kind of working on a few other things. So what we'll do is I usually just flip between it to just show you that I have both styles. And then we'll talk about kind of the units and what I pulled on as well. And in terms of my records, I also have how many pulls I've did total, number of upgrades I've done, number of chants I've gotten, and so on and so forth. Okay, so if you're wondering why my Suzette is higher, I did actually initially put some guiding light items on her, and I actually did also use some of the free subscription tickets, the 5 light or shadow every month. Remember that as a free-to-play, we don't have the Guide of Heavens or Guide of Land, so whatever I do is just what I do. Okay, of course, Foran is one of those 4.5s that only have a 5-star. Okay, and remember that, for those who are playing and just wondering about side grades and things like that, keep in mind that if you do fully upgrade another unit from one style to the other, it does actually give you extra stats. So for example, with Suzette, each form gives the others more stats as well. Okay, I'm gonna stop flipping through the 4.5s because really, no one cares about that. Anabel, one of my early ones, hit her a number of times, and remember that for those who are early on in the game, you actually got a free 4.5 Anabel when the first night came out about a year into the game. Nomar, of course. Odaha. Denny, another favorite. Surprisingly, Chio, I only have 66 light on her, which is kind of interesting. Tiramisu. We all know the pain that I gotten pulling multiple Tiramisus in my chase forever. Myunfa. And again, keep in mind that some of these units I did use items overall. Most of them I have not, and especially if you have been following along for any length of time, I usually try to tell you when I have used items, especially in the early days. Nolly is by far my highest bought Rainbow Sister Knight. I'm not sure why she has an affiliation to me, or is my second at 37, Cetos, and so forth. Okay. Now, first of all, I want to say, if any of you are on YouTube, please put out an account review. I don't have any AS treatises for ASPTK yet. Please put out an account review because I really want to take a look at your polls as well, and kind of we can compare about it. And if you do commentate or at least type in some of your description, the main things we want to know is kind of the same things I will be covering. How many units you have, for example, if you've spent money on the game, if so, how much, how many chants you've had, polls if you even keep records of that, and so on and so forth. Okay, Hisumena. I remember chasing that one down. That took a while. I miss using Renri. When I first pulled the AS, she was actually top notch. One of the few units initially that can do crit setting. Obviously, she's fallen by the wayside, but she came out around first night. And I used her many times. And then after that, I used the normal style with Manifest to control a lot of fights for things like the twins, I guess the True Spirits and stuff like that. So many of my early videos do have that. Of course, AS Kikyo, AS Radias, yep, and so on and so forth. Again, I do apologize if the video is a little bit slow. This is kind of how it usually goes, just because people want to kind of see. Surprisingly, only a 4.5 Isuka. Never side graded that and never pulled a natural 5. My light on Isuka is extremely low. Obviously, I'm not of the Church Apollo, and so I don't have a high level. Again, I could obviously 255 that, just have not bothered. Same thing with Shion. No AS, didn't bother with it. Hopefully, I'll pull him eventually. Same thing with Mighty, no AS. Garam, no AS just yet. Yukino. I do have a 4.5, no 5 yet, and again, these are units I can upgrade. If you watch my side grade video, you'll know that I have a lot of these. Okay, continue on. Eva, Flam, you know I do have the AS. Only pulled one of Flam, one of Eva, never got a double, so I'm very happy, regardless of how much I spent, that I didn't spend extra. No Vena just yet. Cynthia, of course, you remember me pulling it more recently, and some of the free units. Orlea is not free. And look how low the light on Sheila is. I mean, it's not like I didn't run the dungeons. Remember, I try to keep up with all the items. Like, you know, when you grind the dungeons and you try to get all the points and all the rewards, I did all that. And, spoiler alert, we do have an AS Melody coming up in the future, but look at that. 4 light, nothing else, a Yuna. We got Stumpy there. It's really interesting that some of these units that we pull as gacha, and I pulled a heck of a lot. I've actually pulled 2,410 times. So that's, I guess, 2,410 singles or 241 10 pulls, okay? Like, a lot of those, even with all that, never really, you know, hit more than one of some of those units. And so it's kind of funny, right? On another note, for those who believe in the Church of Single Pulls versus Church of 10 Pulls, the 10 Pulls are really, really where you get the advantage of getting random 4.5s, which really fill up your roster. And so some of these, as a one-off, I just got it and never came back, even though I pulled a ton. Pry, 124, and Benedict is, again, spoiler alert, coming out with a 5-star version in a future, whatever you call those, the collaborate, I can't remember. It's the one with me. Shion, look at that, 62. Nika never upgraded just yet. Ewan, one of my early fire units, and actually one of my main fire DPS for a very, very long time. Tsukiha, another favorite. I will say I definitely like all the forms of Tsukiha. I've used all of them, although some of them lasted longer than others. Tsukiha is still a top-notch one in my book. Felmina, the funny thing is when I chased her down, I really needed a wind blunt to augment my wind units, and of course, as soon as I got her, she really wasn't useful. I do have both versions of Xavier Hu. Really should try out some of these units. That's the funny thing. When you have a lot of units like I do, unless you really are like a student of the game and testing out everything possible, I actually don't try everything out there. I kind of stick to my teams, and I'm sure a lot of you guys as well. Mysteria, really have to side grade that. Yipha. So you can see I've been putting a couple of months of a shadow on Yipha. I started with a 4, so keep in mind, I only had a 4.5, never pulled again, so a few months of items on her. Thillelille is Thillelille. And we'll just continue quickly here. Dunerith, I do have both forms, Alma, and so on and so forth. So I'll just finish this up so we don't waste too much time here. Sesta did good. And the Dewey, of course, I did hit an altar at one point. Look at some of these grinded units, like the Deidre, 15, Jade, 15. Radica only hit 3 4s. Melissa only hit 2 4s. And I used one item back in the day to make it 9, so 5 plus 4, essentially. Gallery got nothing, and a bunch of 4, 4, 4, 4. Again, hard to have hit those. Alright, so just in summary, 2,400, and I'll put these in the description as well. 2,410 total pulls. I've pulled 106. I'll just go into inventory. It's been a long time since I've kind of done this. 106 5-stars pulled, 67 different ones. So dupes I count as separate, obviously. And all of those 5-stars hit, 17 of them are free. I'm just going to scroll down some of these a little bit slower. For those newer to the game, you may not even have access to some of these. Again, probably not that important. You can skip over this part if you want. I just show it to show that I have been collecting some of these over the years. And if you think I missed anything, let me know. Okay, in chant scripts drops, I've gotten 389 total wild ones, and that does not include any rewards from any grinds. That's purely, you know, dungeon grinds or anything along those lines where they drop as rare rewards in the chest, or in the case of obviously Total Dream World, a Theater World, where you just collect it as such. Now, Moon Boy is one of those collectible items. Hopefully you got most of those. Next thing to say, in terms of units I've upgraded, and again, all of this will be in the description because a lot of you will probably skip over some of this in the video. I've upgraded Mighty, Ewan, Shannon, Toova, and these are in order, by the way. All 3 encounter units, so that 3 encounter units does include the Serene, Zami, and Garyu. Shion, Myunfa, Dewey, Radias, Bria, Claude, Suzette, Anabel, Elga, Kikyo, Jade, Thillelille, Foran, Myrus, Renri, Melissa, Laclair, Ciel, Rosetta, Tsukiha, Isuka, Necoco, Isuka, Necoco, Ewan, Melina, Yipha, Hisumena, and so on and so forth. Okay, these we don't need to, these should be dropped off. Okay, yeah, keep on going. Some of them I have, okay, back to the weapons. I have not upgraded a lot of these, like the plasma. I really should be going back to the overworld and getting that done, but I've actually been playing, as much as you say I've been playing a little bit less and putting a little bit less content out there, it's actually a lot of content in general. You know, just to play through everything and kind of get everything. I did run the maze a lot of times. You can see I have 5 spinal staffs, which, by the way, is not even bad because, you know, I run all magic teams anyways, right? So a lot of these are manifest weapons. I fought everything up to date that I could, so continue on here. Anyways, back to the list of upgrading. Let's see. After Yipha, Hisumena, Miyu, Suzuki, Lulu, Hozuki, Chio, Bami, Myunfa, Daisy, Thillelille, Melina, Duraderath, Hardy, Kikyo, Nagi, all 5 altars. You know, from the future mythos. No one cares about those. And let's see. 7 is Victor, Lokido, Seti, Yipha, Minoka, Necoco, Flam, Yipha, Radias, Lily, Claude, Sora. 3 altars after that. Suzette, Miyu, and Isuka. Okay, let's get back to the action here. Not much action, I guess, but some of these weapons, for example, the ones that I use to control speed, I grinded out 3. So one thing of note is that if you do need weapons to kind of adjust speed and you haven't really gotten that far in the game, definitely run the Western Mythos. So that's the one that features Claude and Claude. Those gear, which is the Luna gear as well as the Moon Realm, especially the Moon Realm rings or other things, they will help you through very many fights. Like the Moon Realm gear is perfect. It gives 40 MP as well as reduction in chances of things like pain and poison. So see, at least 2 of each Luna. And if you do that, it'll really help you through some of these fights. Okay, sorry if I'm going a little bit slower. We don't care about anything after those, you know, items. Now, if you're wondering why I'm going over the weapons, I know some of you kind of check, oh, you know, have I gotten all the high-end weapons and so on and so forth? And have you plus 10'd everything? No, I haven't plus 10'd everything. There's a lot of plus 10s I haven't done. Just because, honestly, grinding overworld's kind of boring, right? Like, getting the super bosses, even the Elpis weapons I just got recently. And so, you know, it takes a lot of time to kind of fit those in. Plus 8 Alcanactos. And you can see a lot of these were, like, when the content was slower, I would say you can totally do that. Plus 10 everything. Just sit there on a weekend if you're watching YouTube, Netflix, or TV. You just sit there, grind the overworld. Remember, you have to collect sparkles and other things as well. Or even sometimes grind dungeons. Man, I don't want to use all my red keys on things I don't really care about. And in terms of overworld, again, something I really need to do near, you know, for some of these newer ones. Apollo's Harp. I don't even know if all of you have 5-star seal. But anyways, that was from the first year where we had time to grind that. I do like some of the names of these weapons. Sorrow of Fists, Void, of course. Mujima, some of the best weapons in the game. Again, 2 Lunas for speed control. If you're newer to the game and kind of wondering, oh, Will, how should I kind of like build my inventory of weapons and stuff like that? I would highly suggest, other than obviously the Moon Realm and Luna weapons, obviously as many of the manifests as you can do, anything that you've unlocked. Some of the early gear, like the Cruel Angel or the ones from the Total Dreamland, I don't think anyone really cares about those now. Now, anything with these kind of star signs or asterisk signs, these are usually featured in side episodes, and so I mean you're going to get them along the way anyways. Like any other land weapons, probably wouldn't recommend grinding at this point. Just not worth anyone's time. Same thing with the armor. You want to grind out things that you're already grinding out anyways. For example, I already have 2 copies of Smoke Drift Bangle, only because I'm running right now Ash Tears dungeon. Like for some of the other dungeons, like when I grinded out Garyus or like Altinas, anything that's free anyways, then I just grind out multiple copies. Some of these that were really useful: Bracelet of Might, 15% extra damage when AP max. We used them a lot, like my friend and I, when I was doing a lot of boss fights back in the day. Now, again, not all of these are necessary. See, 4 copies of Moon Realm. I will say that my friend, the one who I feature on the channel, he actually recommended me to get a set of all of those. So as much as he doesn't do as many boss fights as I do, he is actually quite insightful with the game, and so he's very much a student of the game. He just doesn't necessarily apply all his knowledge in fighting super bosses out there. I would say that in terms of personality, he's more of a kind of like a very analytical when coming to both summoning and kind of finishing off content. For me, I'm a little bit more go by feel. Obviously, I do some analytics as well, but I try to craft my abilities to beat boss fights as well. Because let's be honest, we want to finish all the content in the game, and I kind of started the channel many years ago, mainly to show how to do boss fights and other kind of weird secrets and that, because at the time, Eden had no content out there. I wanted to not only share some of my abilities because I felt that, hopefully people can learn from that. But the other thing is that, Discipline Ring. Another one I highly recommend, 50 extra MP, perfect for mental focus, especially for rings. 4 Moon Realm rings. Highly recommend. Anyways, I did a lot of those fights and stuff like that to share, and then eventually I kind of kept on going, and people just kind of jumped on board and so on and so forth. So anyways, that's where we're at right now. Hopefully you still enjoy some of the content I put out. Okay, a lot of these badges again were from either Battle Simulator, aka Boss Rush. Some of these are from the Tales of and things like that. I honestly can't remember where I got all of these. General rule about these badges in general, I would say that encounter plus and minus are useful if you want to kind of avoid, control how many fights you have, especially in dungeons. These stat badges are great, especially if you have a 255 already. It's an extra bonus. Otherwise, like a lot of these, like these kind of ones are very specialized. Like the speed minus is useful if you want to, again, control the sequence by which units come out. Some of them I even forgot, like this HP badge is outdated already, right? 9 lives. You already can use Grass to Ore. So in general, if you have a badge, I will highly use stats on it in general, unless you're customizing fights for certain types of conditions. You use the Grass to Ore to kind of give you some of those abilities like bullseyes and stuff like that. You really don't use badges to kind of give yourself, like, who cares about Thunder Resistance plus 10? Like, what you're doing is you can use badges to kind of help you with certain areas of the game, but in general, I always just put pure stats. All power for fighters, mix of power and speed, or int and speed, depending on how useful my my teams are. And then of course, some badges have special moves like Fresh Heal and stuff like that. Okay, I'm just gonna scroll quickly through this. So you can see I grinded Total Dream World, Theater World a heck of a lot. Because most of you at this point probably want to see what kind of badges have I gotten that's like crazy 40 or 50. I will also say I have not traded in all my stuff at the cat thing when you go into the PCD. So if you're wondering why I don't have a lot of 50 badges, just haven't bothered. If I really need, if the difference between 40 and 50 is enough that I'm losing, I'm probably not doing the game right anyways, right? Like, after all, everything can be beaten with free units, right? I've never been one to only play with free units. I summoned the Gacha because I want to use Gacha. Some of the exceptions when I wasn't using, Gacha units was only like Melissa because I thought that was super cheap. I did avoid using the Radias, Yipha, and Aesora because I felt tanks were they were super tanks essentially. So I really tried to avoid those. Obviously, at this point, I don't really care anymore. I want to win the fight, win it hard, get the rewards, and honestly, you guys like that kind of team thing too, right? Because, you know, you're going to be using those powerful units as well. Okay. So if you don't, again, if you're new to the game and you don't have these badges, a lot of them are traded in from, you know, the cats. Especially these ones I found super useful. Int, power, speed 25 kind of thing. Some of these other ones, no. And I think one of this was, I don't even remember if you found this in the, I want to say, a P5. Okay, so a lot of these 40s, again, were traded in. Some of them I found actually in the newest dungeon, the Ash Tier dungeon. So you can see most of my DPS are power. Anyone that's speed-based or kind of support have speed 40. So that's kind of what I do here. This is an older one, and in terms of actually finding anything special, like you're not using any. Before, when we were first playing the game, everyone kind of think anything stat-wise over 25 were really useful, especially combined stats. Like most of the time, no one really worries about that. Everyone's using 30, 35, 40, or 50. So I'm gonna just stop looking there. Okay, nothing in my fish. You guys, if you haven't fished everything, you really should. We're not gonna look at how many people I fished. We should look at fishing goods just to see what I'm at. I know some of you are kind of wondering what kind of level I have. So that's what I have, pretty much everything. And remember that if you have maxed out regular fishing, then you can kind of trade some of those gears to help you with the harpoon fishing afterwards. And so didn't finish this actually, didn't super max it, but you can clearly see I have most of what's required. I mean, there's more powerful than Gust Harpoon 5, and I don't even remember if C-Tip's the best one, but yeah. Okay, another interesting area where you want to see maybe what I have stack-wise. Well, you know, lots of those. Chants obviously are somewhat of a bottleneck, but again, I really want to reassure people who have been playing the game for any length of time. If you run the dungeon every day, you should have more than enough chants. Like, I find that people who, and again, I'm overgeneralizing, people who have not run it every day will run into trouble. Now, if you're wondering about certain things like this, I'm just going to go a little bit slower here. I upgrade or build VC Grasses as soon as I have enough, and I buy enough for 3 of them, so anything extra is after that. So, for example, with Sayori Hime Treatise, that is AS Chio, I have a true VC already, or enough for it, and I bought those. So these are 7 extra on top. So if you're wondering why some of these numbers are low, no, I just bought them all. Same with any of these. So some of the older units, obviously, you can clearly see I have tons. Other units are not so much. Like a Frolin, obviously, I just side grade. I don't even have extra. See, this is the one for Shannon. I clearly have enough for that. Yes, Yasuo Mazaguchi. 39 on top of the true VC. So on and so forth. Okay. I have a true VC and still have 3 extra. So the main thing is, again, this section is more for your own interest. You can pause at any point if you want to see specific ones. I am only missing one more, then I can buy one and I can ES Toova it all the way. It's really to show you that you can grind this out for sure. Like, I mean, I'm not anyone special. I may have started earlier than all of you. You know, day 1 global, essentially. Look at that. But I certainly don't do anything special. Just grind all your keys. Honestly, buy your keys each week. You should have a comparable amount of items, especially the chance and something over time, especially treaties and so on. Obviously, RNG will help, but you know, it's not necessary all the way. Okay, these items, new or old, like for players, hey, they are valuable and don't come very often, okay? Don't burn them just randomly putting them on units to get them to 80 or 120. If you're going to use these items, specifically use them for whatever targets you want to do, like at least have an idea of what you're going to do here, okay? If you want to bring it to 80 or 120 for the 2 badges or the extra move, make sure you're going to get a lot of use out of it. Like, for example, ES Nagi, I 255 that. How many of you see me use Nagi in any style, like for endgame fights now? Sometimes, just for fun, but they might not even be the first choice for fights, especially as units get power crept and it's a free-to-play, right? So, try to save them And I mean, if you really need 80 or 120, again, the fights may be done, you know, you might be doing the fights wrong, right? So, I feel a 16 should be enough for many of these. Okay, I don't think anyone really cares about this. However, this is for one of the old grinds here. I don't think anyone really needs to see anything else here. I think I got all these items. Finally finished them. Probably haven't used them all, actually. Okay, so Grasta is another one that some people were wondering about what I have. The answer is pretty much everything in the game, minus some you know, loser ones that I haven't checked out. If you have, again, early in the game, you might not have enough Jadites to get everything upgraded. Clearly, when you play enough and you grind in all the dungeons, and you do want to grind dungeons, they will have more chances of getting Jadites, especially the ones at the end. You want all these almighty powers maxed out because they are the ones that share abilities with others who can carry the Grasta, and therefore they are extremely important. Like these ones are from the newest Ash tier ones. We're going to play all Shade teams anyways, and so we really want to have access. So these ones, again, are very, very useful. And of course, these max HP. So a lot of these are from various dungeons. I think max HP was from Azami's dungeon. I can't remember where some of these other ones are from. Agonies are enhanced versions of Power of Pain. And so you really want to max them all out. So again, I'll just scroll a little bit down. You can see I have a comprehensive level. Anything that's what they call a tier 3, which is these 10-10 stat ones, I really do have everything upgraded that I've used. And if you've seen my setup with fights, I have, you know, pretty much all pains and stuff like that. So you want to have generally enough grinded out, and especially these Power of Pains drop more frequently in Antiquity Garlia, although I think in Future and Underworld you have a little bit. I would recommend sets of 4 for everybody. So I have essentially at least 12 Power Pain bows, 12 Power Pain, everything else, and then I upgrade them all so that I have, if I'm running a team, all of them carry it, right? You don't want to be switching back and forth. Now, if you're new to the game, you won't have all these, okay? I get it. But you can clearly see, like, look at that. Okay, these tier 3s, I didn't even bother using. I don't even know if some of you know how to use these. Earth Calamity, you can switch someone to Earth. Useful at a time when you're playing all free teams. Same thing like these. Anyways. Okay, so that's enough of that. Okay, so again, even the support ones like these ones are very useful. Healing power, maybe not, but certainly ways the MP consumption ones can be useful for things like Pry, for example, or Sound Body, super useful nowadays. Not only giving power and speed to the carrier of it, but giving HP 300 extra for those, and MP for those who share their personality. And since we're already seeing the advent of mental focus for physical as well as, you know, magic users, we want to have extra MP and HP, especially since fixed damage is a thing. This one's a relatively new one. I didn't actually realize that, but you can use this to upgrade your units and grind out XP. So keep in mind that you want to use those. These two are extremely useful as well. If you want to debuff, extra 10% debuff, so 50-50-50 will be 60-60-60. So very, very useful, especially since the bosses will boost themselves. Obviously, some people use prayers, which increases weapon damage from a certain weapon type by 50%. Nowadays, everyone does it with their own moves, so a lot of these Grasta aren't as useful. Power Benefic, super useful. There's only one, I think it's from the Future Mythos. No, actually, Western Mythos. Useful for Claude, but obviously for anyone lunatic-wise that is specifically not a risk taker or the sacrifice ones. Ones that are copy specifically, you'll need this to kind of extend it. So Eva obviously carries that, more useful than, say, Yakumo, where Yipha can give risk taker with Blood Contract. Falcon's also a good way to start off the fight, which if you want to have a certain unit switch in to set a turn AF or something like that. Again, speed control for a lot of the super boss fights is extremely necessary. Yeah. Okay. Proficiency debuff is another one that you really should grind out. Again, I think the dungeon from, is it Future with Zami? No, maybe Antiquity. I can't remember anymore. But anyways, the dungeon that has Zami in it where you can trade in, you really want to have a few of these as well. I think you buy them actually from the store, or maybe rarely it drops. These give you 100% proficiency debuff res, and so we use them for fights where the boss is debuffing you heavily. Now, in terms of these zone setting ones, for which are from the boss rush, I don't upgrade them. I'm sure you can customize them with Grasta Ore. never bothered because at that point, that wasn't what was holding me back from fighting. Okay, look at how many I have after that. So again, I grinded everything to 255. You'll have all that. And finally, the ones you probably want to see, how many true VCs I have, how many have grind up. Look at that. Boom. Even some of these, like, see, I Crimson Knight. Okay, anyways, yeah. This one's a free one, of course. Some of these are free. Yep. Full. True. True. And so on and so forth. So a lot of the units I have, especially if I use it a lot, I will true VC. Some of them I don't use as much, and so even though I have the materials, I have not true VC'd those. So bear in mind that true VCs are definitely useful. It gives you enough stats that I would consider it substantial, but not game breaking. So if you're thinking about 15, now speed could be a huge issue, but in terms of power, my understanding, and this is just really rough math, 15 power is probably an extra 5% in overall damage, especially at higher levels. So I could totally be wrong there, but my understanding is about 5%. So it gives you a little bit of edge, but not necessarily enough to break the game. And especially if some of you spend money where you have higher stats than I do because your light and shadow levels are higher, you probably don't need it. It shouldn't be the difference between winning and losing. In some fights, yes, it can be, but I think with the power levels of the units out there, finally got one of those. As well. Then, you know, you would want to grind that out. Okay, anyways, I'll just quickly scroll down the list. Anyone who I have a 5-star for that I use in any way will always have at least a general VC. Some of them I will have a true VC if I use them more often. So you can see that, like, I could just buy them all. I just haven't even paid because a lot of materials, the special fragments and special crystals do add up really quickly, and so you don't want to use, you know, just willy-nilly upgrade everything. Some of these free ones, obviously, like with Tales of, I don't use those units enough. I'm not an expert of the free-to-play strats, and so yeah, all there as needed. Okay, like, what are we at now? Something fun. So there are actually rewards for buying cat equipment. If you have enough, I think it gives you like extra like 50 stones and stuff like that. So just try to do some of those side episodes, or if you spend money, you can actually use those meow coins to buy the gear of your choice. Like in my case, my cat is dressed up as Suzette. And if you aren't free like myself, if you are free like myself, remember that every month the game actually gives you the ability to get 2 coins if you run 1 play at the Unigan. Okay, these are just this Draw Boy. No one uses him now other than maybe to carry Grasta as a 4-slotted fist user. Yeah. And then that's pretty much it. So I think I have all the charms too for grinding. Okay, I think that is everything for the inventory. Now you probably want to see just quickly how many badges I have. So that is the badge list that I have currently: 365 gold, 719 silver, and 3060 bronze. If you're wondering why I haven't claimed any of these, the only things I claim are the trials every month, because if you don't, those rewards expire. So make sure you claim it once you achieve it every month. It is the start of a new month in a couple of days, and so claim those. I save all these for when I'm out of stones either after a long summoning session, or if I'm about to do a summoning session, I might claim ahead of time if I don't have any stones. It's just my own preference. I like to feel like I have some money saved, so to speak. Any of these rewards are all just stones. Anything else that's like, something else, I would have claimed them like if it's items or luring shadow and something like that. So for those who are poor and don't have that many stones, remember that you can run actually the theater. Unigan Theater is one of those left alone rewards that people haven't really done. Make sure you check it out and try to grind that out. You can actually get quite a few, 30 stones, 10, 10, 10, I believe, for bad, good, and excellent. And there are guides on the AE Wiki that gives you, how to do that. Okay, other than that, I think I have shown you everything else you need to know. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you want to see, but I believe that's everything in the roster, to kind of show you. Of course, this is the last one. If this is relatively new, I'm almost ready finishing this. Haven't gotten time to do that, and of course, one more after that. Anyways, again, looking forward to anyone who wants to put up their own account. Just let me know in my comments, and I'll go check it out. And otherwise, hopefully it wasn't too boring watching the account review. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.